Fusion startups raised $9.77 billion. Their entire future runs through 4,500 kilometers of tape. That's the entire 2024 global supply of high-temperature superconductor tape. Commonwealth Fusion alone needs more than 10,000 kilometers for one reactor. Fusion isn't waiting on physics anymore. It's waiting on a Japanese factory. Here's the part that doesn't add up. 53 companies. $9 billion. And the bottleneck isn't a Tokamak design. It's a coated metal ribbon 2/5 of an inch wide. The Fusion Industry Association counted 53 private fusion companies in 2025. Cumulative funding, $9.77 billion. Up from 23 companies in 2021. Annual flows, $2.64 billion in the year ending July 2025. 29 of those startups are in the United States. Names that matter for capital: Commonwealth Fusion Systems, $3 billion raised, including an $863 million Series B2 in August 2025. Helion Energy, over $1 billion raised, post-money valuation $5.4 billion. TAE Technologies, $1.3 billion. Tokamak Energy, Zap Energy, General Fusion, each in the hundreds of millions. None of them are public. Yet. Modern fusion runs on magnetic confinement. Hold the plasma in a bottle of magnetic field. Stronger field, smaller reactor. Old superconductors needed liquid helium at -269 Celsius. Expensive. Bulky. New ones, high-temperature superconductors, REBCO tape, work at -196 Celsius. Liquid nitrogen. Cheap. And they hold a field twice as strong. That's the whole reason private fusion is fundable. Without REBCO, SPARC is the size of ITER. With REBCO, it fits in a warehouse. The math is brutal. SPARC, Commonwealth's first reactor, needs roughly 10,000 kilometers of REBCO tape. One reactor. Global production of 2GH-SVAC wire in 2024, about 4,500 kilometers. Total. For everyone. The top 4 producers, Faraday Factory Japan, Shanghai Superconductor, Fujikura, S Innovation, together account for over half. Faraday Factory alone is the world's largest single 2GH-SVAC plant, capable of more than 1,000 kilometers per year of 12mm tape. They've already shipped over 5,000 cumulative kilometers to fusion customers. CFS as of January 2026, nearly all of SPARC's tape delivered. First of 18 toroidal field magnets completed. Now imagine what happens when CFS, Tokamak Energy, Helion, and TAE all want their next reactors at once. 5 companies make almost all the tape that matters. Faraday Factory Japan, largest by far, private, 3,000 kilometers per year of 4mm equivalent. Shanghai Superconductor, Chinese, private, 2,000 kilometers per year, scaling to 4,000 by end of 2025. Fujikura, Tokyo-listed 5803, launched a 1,200-kilometer commercial line in 2025. Furukawa Electric, 5801, with its U.S. subsidiary Superpower, MOCVD process, supplying Tokamak Energy with hundreds of kilometers for the ST80 prototype, plus a Japan joint manufacturing base announced June 2025. American Superconductor, AMSC. The only U.S.-listed pure superconductor name. Smaller volume on REBCO, but the only one you can buy on the Nasdaq. Russian Superox used to be a major CFS supplier. Not anymore, geopolitics shut that door in 2022. Why does HTS matter so much? Look at what it replaces. ITER. International Mega Project. Old-style low-temperature superconductors. Original budget, 2006, $12 billion. Current estimate, over $32 billion. A 2.7 times overrun. Original first plasma date, 2025. New plan, announced 2024, research operations begin 2034. Full deuterium-tritium fusion, pushed to 2039 from 2035. That's the story HTS tape is trying to bypass. Smaller magnets, faster build, private capital. The whole $9.77 billion private fusion thesis depends on the tape working, and on enough of it existing. So if you can't buy CFS, what can you buy? American Superconductor, AMSC, fiscal 2025 revenue, $222.8 million, up 53% year-over-year. Gross margin 27.8%. Net income positive. Zero long-term debt. Market cap around $2.4 billion. Stock up 58% in April 2026 alone, driven by AI grid demand, but optionality on fusion magnets is pure upside. Bruker, BRKR. $3.37 billion revenue 2024, up 13.6%. Their best division, Bruker Energy and Supercon Technologies, makes both low and high-temperature superconductors for MRI, NMR, and fusion magnets. In just 5 months, December 2025 to April 2026, they booked roughly $600 million in multi-year MRI superconductor orders. That's the cash flow engine. Fusion is the call option. Now the materials angle. Materion, MTRN, 2025 revenue $1.79 billion. Net income $75 million. October 2025, signed a beryllium fluoride supply agreement directly with Commonwealth Fusion Systems, for the molten salt blanket in the ARC commercial plant. February 2026, announced a $65 million defense-backed beryllium capacity expansion. EPS guidance for 2026, $6 to $6.50. This is the only public stock with a named CFS supply contract. BWX Technologies, BWXT. $2.7 billion in revenue. EPS 3.33. Their Connectrix subsidiary was selected in May 2026 to design and fabricate what UK regulators call the world's largest tritium fuel cycle facility. Tritium is the fuel. Whoever builds the tritium loop, builds fusion. Then there are the proxies. Public companies that wrote checks into private fusion. Microsoft signed a 50-megawatt power purchase agreement with Helion Energy. Online target, 2028. Microsoft's name on a fusion PPA is the credibility anchor for the whole industry. Alphabet, through Google's investment arm, led part of TAE Technology Series G in June 2025, alongside Chevron and NEA, $150 million. Italian energy major Eni signed a $1 billion plus power offtake for CFS's ARC plant in Virginia. Late 2025. Nucor, yes, the steel company, invested in Helion. Cenovus invested in General Fusion. When utilities and hyperscalers and steel mills are signing fusion offtake before there's a working reactor, the supply chain plays, the AMSCs, the Materions, start looking less speculative. Here's the full public landscape. 13 names. 3 categories. Direct superconductor exposure, AMSC, Bruker, Furukawa Electric, Sumitomo Electric, Fujikura. Materials and fuel cycle, Materion, BWXT. Investor proxies, Microsoft, Alphabet, Chevron, Eni, Nucor, Cenovus. Notice what's missing. There is no public fusion pure play. 0. That changes mid-2026. 2 SPAC mergers are about to break that. TAE Technologies, $6 billion all-stock merger with Trump Media announced December 2025. Targeted close, mid-2026. General Fusion, merger with Spring Valley Acquisition Corp., also closing mid-2026. If both close, we get the first public fusion pure plays in history. The historical SPAC track record in deep tech is brutal. Velodyne, Quanergy, Lordstown, gone. But the catalyst is real, and it's 12 months away. Most likely path through 2027. CFS hits SPARC first plasma in 2026 and pushes for net energy gain Q greater than 1 in 2027. Probability around 55% on schedule. The HTS tape supply gap forces a 2x to 3x capacity expansion across Faraday Factory and Fujikura by end of 2027. ITER drifts further, dropping to 2040 plus for full operations. Watch 3 signals. First, Faraday Factory and Fujikura capacity announcements. If 2026 capacity guidance crosses 8,000 km per year combined, the bottleneck eases. Second, TAE Trump Media and General Fusion SVAC closes. Day 1 float and analyst coverage will reset how the market prices fusion exposure. Third, DOE Milestone Program Round 2. The first round, $46 million to 8 companies including CFS and Tokamak Energy, catalyzed $350 million in private follow-on. Round 2 is the next funnel. Catalysts to watch: positive, NIF gain above 3, current record 2.44, or a CFS plasma milestone. Negative, a single REBCO production line failure at Faraday Factory. One factory, one fab. That's the supply chain. Upstream, REBCO suppliers. Downstream, magnet integrators like Bilfinger Knoll, plus AI-driven grid utilities looking for firm clean power post-2030. Personal analysis only. Not investment advice. I'm Big Z, follow me, see you in the next deep dive.